Alrighty, folks, what's going on? This is Matt here for Dark One Linux Tech and Gamer. This is the fusion of Linux technology and gaming. And I've been saying, since all the competition has been coming out for the handheld market, since the Steam Deck, not prior, since the Steam Deck, all the other OEMs, big or small, still suck at it. And it basically boils down to bad software, as in i.e. Windows does not fit that form factor at all. Microsoft has had 20 plus years for that shit and they still haven't figured it out. Ecosystem, third-party ecosystem, etc., open nature, so software support, community support. There's a ton of different reasons why honestly the deck is a better experience, despite the fact that not every game runs on it, because newsflash, not every game is going to run on the new and shiny thing that you just bought, be it the ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, or insert thing here. That's the reality. Unless you can cram a 4090 in something that small, which we currently can't, then stop whining about, I can't play X. Just be glad you can play anything that is remotely even close to AAA on the go, whereas a few years ago, good fucking luck. But I'm curious to see what this guy has to say about what his top 5 reasons why the deck is better than the Lenovo Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally. So let's get into it.
What's up, deckheads? Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 reasons why the Steam Deck is crushing the competition in 2023. So if that's something you guys were interested in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into this video. So the first being Steam Deck pricing. So the entry point to get a Steam Deck is only $400. And if you compare this to the competition, that is way below anybody. I mean, you look at what Asus ROG is charging, which is $500 for entry level. You also look at what the Legion Go is trying to charge. The Steam Deck, you come in it at only $400 for a 64 gig model. But then you can even get it cheaper. If you're going for the refurbished, you can get that for only $320. And something that we've seen Steam do a lot is offer sales and discount, especially when they have their annual store sales. So again, you can get the Steam Deck for really cheap, and I believe that's one of the reasons why they're crushing the competition in 2023. Next being,
Okay, so you're always going to hear this whole, oh, Valve can afford the loss because they do the console mentality. They can eat cost because of the storefront. You could argue that some of these OEMs could eat some of the cost and shave it closer to cost, like to actually develop the device to cost, as opposed to what they charge. You could make that argument. So therefore, the device would be cheaper. The reality of it is, though, the deck in its current form is the cheapest and best price to performance ratio that you're going to get in that category. That is almost impulse buy. I'm going to tell you guys right now, anybody who thinks $600, $700, $800 for most people, I'm not talking about people who are in different, shall we say, tax brackets. $600, $700, $800 for a handheld is more money than they can afford to spend on a kind of whim. That's something that you save, for some people, that's a chunk of a fucking car for them. That's a tenth of a car. It's a tenth of a down payment on something. Like, I've lived paycheck to paycheck. Other people apparently don't. So realistically, though, the price to performance of what you get in the deck is far better than what you're going to get from any of the competition as is right now. Now, I'm not saying the other competition isn't going to go down in price, but what you're going to find is the chipsets that are in there are never going to be optimized because they're running Windows, and these are just OEMs. These are OEMs or ODMs that are just iterative. They push out new hardware, and that's all they care about. The hardware sales, upgrade every 18 months, upgrade every 18 months. That's all they give a shit about. That's where they make their money. So the deck, from a longevity point of view, is far more interesting for your money and price to performance than you're ever going to get from all these other systems that are currently out there, despite what the spec is.
means that Steam Deck can actually handle these new AAA games. Now, a lot of people thought around this time in Steam Deck's life cycle that this platform won't be able to handle the latest AAA games, but like we're seeing here, Mortal Kombat runs quite decent. On the Steam Deck, we've seen games like the Cyberpunk DLC, Phantom Liberty run pretty well on the Steam Deck. Games like Starfield as well is run pretty well on the Steam Deck. So again, for the price, like we talked about in the first reason, only $320. With that price point, having this platform being able to run AAA games in 2023 is a huge win. So again, you don't have to shell out $600 for the RG Ally to be able to play these AAA games, while the Steam Deck can do it again for really cheap, and the quality is quite decent. Another reason why the Steam Deck is crushing the competition 2023 is because Valve really.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure he was getting into his third point. Yeah, optimizations. This is the thing that always console gamers always talked about. Well, it's targeted to the platform. It's fixed hardware. You can get the optimization, utilization, and all the most technical aspects out of the system that you possibly can. And that's like the perk of it from a development point of view, because it's fixed hardware, it's targeted hardware. It's an entry point that, besides the actual storage medium, SD card, is it the eMMC or is it the SSD, the NVMe drives? Wipe all that out, it's targeted. So you can optimize for it. Now, there's going to be compromises in that optimization, but it allows the developers to optimize the experience. Now, the deck has cores, don't get me wrong, and it's not a sunshine and rainbows fucking device, but it is the most console PC device that you're going to currently get. So if you are a console gamer, but you want to get into PC gaming, this is how I view the deck. It is the most console-like experience you are currently going to get for an entry-level device into PC gaming that can actually fucking play video games. So, again, he is not wrong. And I think the fact that it is fixed hardware and a PC market is so used to having a non-consoleized style of experience of hardware where it's just, the device is the device barring some storage, that it's kind of a foreign concept to a lot of people. So I do think that the software optimizations that people and developers can do with the hardware is what really, really fucking matters. And that is the biggest point, because 2 years in, despite some of the quirks and stuff with the deck, it still, for the most part, can play stuff fairly well. Because we've learned from things like with the Switch here, they don't give a shit how well the game runs sometimes. Go look at any friggin' Idea Factory game on the Switch, like Death End Request or 1 or 2. Holy fuck, people still play it though. Fucking, why does games like Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3, 1 and 2 shouldn't definitely need to be cloud stream. You should be able to do it on the device. You can't do it on the device because for some reason it's not optimized for the device. So they would stream it through the cloud, which is a shit experience. So those experiences are able to be done on the deck, but it also has the open nature of the PC where it's not a lockdown device that you would get with something like this or that or the thing behind it. And that's something that I don't think a lot of console gamers get used to, but because it's not so open that most PC gamers are gonna really be willing to accept it generically. If you're a PC master race, give me all the fucking specs, like it's not gonna be a device for you.
Really cares about this platform. I mean, look how many updates. I'm just going to scroll here so you guys can take a look at how many update Valve's consistently provides for this platform compared to its competitors, where we get at least one update every month or even every 2 months. It's ridiculous, but seeing Valve support for this, again, if a game doesn't work, they support it via Proton and update and fixes and patches. So again, it's pretty cool to see Valve's commitment to the Steam Deck platform. And I believe that's another reason why it's crushing it in 2023. Now, another reason
Exactly. It's the commitment from Valve on a traditionally PC platform, like, the storefront wise, that they are seeing a console-like experience for the first time. So PC gamers don't like the get your console out of my PC and get, and console gamers have generically been get your PC out of my console kind of mentality with one another, which I think is fucking stupid. But Valve's commitment to changing and adapting and making the devices, getting the most out of this device from a software perspective and refining the experience for the device is a fantastic move. And it is shown that, unlike, the maybe every 2 months for a Switch that you might get an update, or maybe once a month for a PlayStation or an Xbox, generically Valve is doing a much better job fixing issues in games. They are, from a PC perspective, they're fixing issues in games, they're fixing issues in the software and the experience and the user experience, and etc. What all these other platforms are not doing, and I'm talking the hardware platforms, not the software that goes with them. So like your Legion Go and your ROG Ally and like all the INEOs and the 1X players and all these other ones. You can say what you want about Linux and all the other stuff and whatnot, and devices being hacky and all the other stuff. I will honestly say that the deck is probably the least hacky device as shipped than the other ones, because Windows on those devices on that size screen is still fucking abysmal from a user design perspective. And good luck trying to argue that. Microsoft has had 20 plus years to figure out touch interfaces, and it still can't fucking figure it out. The closest it got was with the Zune. So that says a lot. But again, it's the commitment, and Valve has shown the commitment to it this time, as opposed to, stuff like the Steam Machine. Valve even showed their commitment to their hardware with like the Steam controller, because the Steam controller was fairly consistently updated as well before they discontinued that. So Valve's commitment to the device, from just like a PC perspective, it's already gone over past like a life cycle of tech that we're not even used to, because it's every 12 to 18 months where I used to upgrade. And I was like, no. So it's interesting to see, and it's interesting to see how far they can take that console-like experience and kind of give that consoleized experience to PC gamers, but give some of the benefits of PC gamers, give some of the benefits of PC gaming to console players who are going to be more comfortable just clicking the big old fucking install and play button and not mess around with stuff. But not feel like if they fuck something up that it's irreversible, because you can just buy all the goddamn parts. You can get the software. Everything it goes back to where it was. So there's that nature of Valve's commitment to it, because I'll give Valve a ton of credit, specifically, regardless of whether or not it's a Valve shipped device. They don't restrict me from running a goddamn different store if I so choose, a different operating system if I so choose. That's the difference than these guys. These guys are what you see, what you get. They determine the experience. Valve says, you determine the fucking experience. That is amazing to me.
Another reason why Steam Deck's crushing the competition 2023 is the community. I mean, you look at the Reddit, it has a huge following. You put a question in Reddit and you're bound to get an answer. So much involvement, no matter what time of the day it is. When you log into Reddit, you see somebody on and there's communications going to this post going. But not only that, you have awesome communities making utilities to make the Steam Deck a better experience for its users. Stuff like ME Deck, stuff like non-Steam Game Launcher. So again, the community is awesome, and this is something that not a lot of Steam Deck competitors have. So lastly,
that's precisely my point. The community makes the experience for the device, especially an open device. So when are we going to see anything remotely related to these kind of consoleized experiences developed specifically around an ROG Ally, or specifically around a Lenovo Legion Go? No, because fucking these guys are just going to fucking slap dap another version of the piece of hardware out next year, 6 months from now. That's what they do. which means you have to redevelop everything and change everything, etc. And then let's not even get into the quirks of fucking Windows on the size of the devices, which, for all its strengths of, oh, bigger game compatibility at the cost of what? An overall experience that is quite frankly shit on that size device. And I'm speaking as someone who, I love the Microsoft Surface devices. I've owned a couple of them. They're fantastic as touch UI goes, and that size UI goes. Overall, Microsoft's user experience is still trash. Valve has developed a better experience for PC as it relates specifically to gaming. So even if you just go into big picture mode, or, you know, deck mode, or whatever it's being called now, deck UI, just using the Windows client, it's still a better experience than using the goddamn desktop version on that bootable Windows god awful UI. So, and if people want to know what I mean by god awful UI, dig a little deeper. You'll find everything from Windows 95 UI all the way up to Metro and Aero, and about 6 layers deep of other different UIs and crap. That's the problem with Windows. The legacy cruft is its problem, while also a strength. But people just wanted to talk about the strength and not, you know, really talk about the cruft of the problem. So, which is Windows. And being able to target specific devices helps build a community when the nature of the device is open. This is why things like the Raspberry Pi blew up. This is why certain elements of 3D printers blew up. This is why open around the hardware makes the community. And support, which Valve is doing, supporting that community by showing love to the device, makes the community last longer. We can even talk about software, and I'm not a fan of these guys, which is Bethesda / Microsoft now, but the point is if you even go into software, games, the only reason things like Oblivion and Elder Scrolls and Fallout and all those games have any following is because the community and the open nature of the modding that is allowed for those games. Because the company provides the tools for you to do that. They're like, here's the tools, do what you will. That's what helps make those big changes happen. And that is something none of these other devices will ever fucking have. Because also, these guys that do hardware have a horrible record when it comes to developing software. Every company from fucking Sony, which is weird given the fact they make the PlayStation software, everything from Sony to Microsoft, all these guys, any hardware specific OEM, ODM that has tried developing software, it is always fucking terrible. A middling experience is still a terrible experience. It's like going to dinner. Are you going to go to a meh, or I'm going to go to a better place? I'm not going to go to meh. I'm going to go to a better fucking place. A lot of these software experiences that a lot of these other OEMs are making and shipping with Windows specifically, which is already meh, so you add another meh on top of it. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but when you give me 2 out of 3 that are, I'm going to go somewhere the fuck else.
Lastly, I have to say SteamOS. So the Legion Go is coming out, and as exciting as that is, my biggest fear is this is running Windows. And we've seen with RD Ally how terrible of experience Windows is on handheld PCs. SteamOS again brings that console-like experience to Steam Deck, and it's something that just cannot be beat. So SteamOS, I believe, is a great reason why Steam Deck is crushing it, especially when you comparing other handheld that are running Windows PCs. Now, apart from the Steam Deck, there's no other handheld in the market right now that's running SteamOS. I think once we start seeing that, then, you know, we can make that comparison that these handhelds can compete with the Steam Deck. But I believe SteamOS is a significantly better OS when it comes to handheld form gaming PCs. So again, this separates it from its competitors. Alright fellas, that's all I have for you guys. Let me know what are your thoughts. Are there any advantages that I'm missing here about why the Steam Deck is crushing in 2023 when you compare it to others? Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, little deckheads.
He just kind of reiterated all my points that I've been saying for, well, months and months and months and months and months and months at this point. It boils down, really, realistically, it really does boil down to the user experience, the optimizations around that user experience, and the utilization of developers with the hardware and utilizing the fucking hardware, and the third-party ecosystem and community that is built around the device. All things that none of the other communities can have. And we're not even getting into the price aspect of it. Add the price on top of it. Lowest price, best performance for the money, because the closest thing that I know of that is anything remotely like price wise in that range of $300 is, I believe it's the one of the Loki devices, or the guys that make Loki. I think it's like the Light something, but it uses like an Athlon processor, and it maxes ships with is like 8 gigs of RAM. The point is, all that stuff, when you add up together with the community and all the other stuff in the price, it's a killer combination of everything. It's the perfect storm of everything that makes a device successful. Now, is it going to go and sell, 100 million units or whatever? No, honestly, it's a first gen device. It has its first gen issues. I'm not going to say it doesn't. Some of the UI and some of the jank is still there. But on the same note, all devices have issues. So none of the competition from a software UX or user interface point of view can even touch the deck right now from a usability point of view, because the usability is SteamOS. The price helps build that community so you can develop a third-party ecosystem. So the open nature of that device, USB-C fucking everything. They don't care. They've improved the docking experience. They're dock neutral, essentially. Here, they sell one, but you can use a JSOC dock or insert company dock here for third party. Software cases, hardware cases, they're all there. And it's all third party. And it's a fixed form factor, which you're not going to get with the other guys. Because what does Asus and all these other fucking companies do every year? They change their design a little bit. It's kind of like, Asus's track record with their software updates for their phones. If you guys want to trust that kind of company for your device, for longevity's sake, I'm just going to say, don't go bitching and moaning when your old shit don't work anymore. So he's on everything I'm already been on about. The deck kills everybody because of ecosystem, commitment, open nature, and the software experience right now. And anybody who wants to argue otherwise, go ask why Bethesda still releases fucking Skyrim, 13 years later for every goddamn platform under the sun. Because it makes them money, yes. But it's successful because of the fucking community. And how big is the fucking community? Go look at Nexus mods. Go look at any of the fucking mod sites. You'll find a lot of goddamn mods that make that community. Go to Reddit. Go to insert wherever you want to go. Support by the community makes the device. You can make a device and have no community support, and guess what? That device isn't going to get much support from the fucking company.